Welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome, one and all. My name is Tom, and welcome to Tom's Tavern. That's not what I got written down for the intro, but fuck it, we'll wing it. And, well, yes, welcome back to Tom's Tavern, everyone. We are on week 2. Burridge is waving his hands. Burridge, speak for the podcast, people.
Hello there.
Hello there. Very on topic
Like,
today, we're talking
yeah.
about the Star Wars prequels. Oh my goodness. Talking about Star Wars. I'm sort of delaying because I'm just pouring a drink a minute.
Yes, we're going to be talking about Star Wars, the prequels. So we're defining prequels
Everything
as
pre.
anything that is canonically on the timeline before A New Hope starts. So that is everything up until the very end of Rogue One. So this does include things like Rebels, Clone Wars TV shows, things like that. So we're not just talking about the 3 films, we're talking about the timeline up until the end of Rebels.
Yeah.
Not Rebels, Rogue One, sorry.
The other R.
Because that is a prequel, canonically, to the original timeline. So you're
I've not tried it before. That's the idea. I'm trying beers as I go.
What beer have you got today,
I
Thomas?
have Korev, which is apparently a Cornish lager.
You do have a Cornish lager with you there.
Oh.
It sells very well down here to the point
it?
where it's always out of stock. Particularly in the summer. When it's summer and you've got all of the grockles down here. Then grockles, by the way, for people who have no idea what the hell I'm on about, is a Cornish word used for tourists.
It's what you say when you're not a fan of the tourist.
Yeah, you call them a grockle.
Bloody grockles. Bloody.
I'm pretty sure I've not even earned the right to say that word yet. I'm not Cornish enough, but
God, okay, but literally, I've just started recording a bloody podcast and I'm getting a phone call. It's not an important one, so I've just ignored it.
You should try grapefruit beer.
I've tried a grapefruit beer before. Is it Elvis Juice by Brewdog?
Elvis Juice.
I think that's grapefruit. It's very tangy, and Brewdog's kind of a bad company. but yeah, they're the Nestle of the craft beer world, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I think it's their Elvis Juice. Yeah, the CEO of Brewdog is not a nice person.
We're calling you out, CEO of Brewdog. We're calling you out.
Yeah, Elvis Juice is grapefruit. I knew it.
I knew it.
Misconstrued. But yeah, anyway. What are we talking about? That's Star Wars, obviously, we've already covered that. Shall we start at the beginning?
Yes. Well, I should also define for those people who watch this who are Star Wars nerds like us and like the timelines and that. When we say prequel, we're also capping it at the beginning of Phantom Menace.
Phantom, yes.
Because yes, anything before Phantom Menace, including a lot of the new stuff, the Tales of the Jedi stuff, which I've not watched yet, they are technically prequels.
Yeah.
In the timeline, but for all intents and purposes, we are going from Phantom Menace to end of Rogue One timeline-wise.
Yeah, we should clarify. This is labelled on the topic list as film, so we are only covering the films.
So although you have the Clone Wars TV shows and Rebels, that's a different.
Yeah, I mean it is. We are covering those as well. We're covering visual media. I only put down one classification, and seems as this is more film heavy than TV heavy. The Clone Wars technically do have more content overall, but when you say Star Wars, no one thinks of the Clone Wars. They think of the films.
Yeah, for the most part.
Only weirdos think of the Clone Wars. So let's start at the beginning. How does the first crawl text start?
Oh, good question.
Hold on. Let me grab it. I literally watched it earlier. I should know. Although, when I say I watched it earlier, I was sat with it on in the background while I was playing GTA 5 on my Steam Deck.
Oh yes,
It
you said
runs
that
so
very
well.
Yeah.
I've installed it just to have a laugh because actually, half gig internet, I could do that. It took 30 minutes to install the entirety of GTA. I can't wait to upgrade to gigabit, which I'm going to do as
Yeah.
soon as I have any money.
I'll be doing the same as soon as we move to a place that supports it.
Yeah. Keeps ringing me. Stop it. I'm trying to record a bloody podcast. Some people shake my head.
SMH my head. Yeah, no, Phantom Menace.
Scroll text.
Yes.
That's what I'm looking for. I know there's something about taxation in there.
Oh, that's relevant.
Autumn budget's just come out. Be prepared for us to talk about that
we're
nonsense.
poorer.
Yeah, baby. Turmoil has engulfed the Galactic Republic. The taxation of trade routes to the outlying star systems is in dispute. Hoping to resolve the matter, with a blockade of deadly battleships, the greedy Trade Federation has stopped all shipping to the small planet of Naboo. Wait, hold on. There's nothing about taxation in here. What? Oh no, yeah, there is taxation. I literally said taxation. I'm an idiot.
You just
bloody hell. Yeah. Anyway, to quote the Killian Experience video on the prequels, most people dislike it from the word taxation because it reminds us there's too much reality in their high sci-fi fantasy. But yeah, so let's just give a quick Cliff Notes version of the opening events of. I was going to call it Rogue One then. This is going so well.
No, that's a little long the timeline yet.
Of the first Star Wars. Yeah, so it starts with your boy Obi-Wan Kenobi and Liam Neeson rocking up to a big donut with its hole still in the middle, and being like, "Aight lads, you've been naughty." They get taken to a room and attempted to be gassed. Someone blows up their ship. And then some shenanigans happen and they meet Jar Jar Binks and it all goes downhill from there. Which is...
yeah, they meet Jar Jar Binks. Later on down the line, there's a massive Jewish stereotype.
There's a massive plot twist where Jar Jar's Darth Jar Jar.
Yeah,
but George Lucas didn't have the balls to keep it in. Let's blame Lucas.
Cut content.
Yeah, it's canon. Thanks Disney for putting that back in.
Thanks Disney.
Yeah, what were you saying? What I said about Darth Jar Jar?
Yeah, no, so they go down onto the Watto, yeah.
So
only money.
They go down to Naboo, the planet that the Trade Federation are blockading. They meet Jar Jar Binks. They get attacked by a giant fish that then gets eaten by a bigger fish because there's always a bigger fish. That's all right until you're up to the size of planets. Then what's bigger than that? Is Galactus legally a fish?
Possibly.
Wait, hold on. No, it'd be Darth.
However Galactus wants to identify.
Would it be Darth Nihilus in? He's the one that eats planets.
Nihilus. Yeah, Darth Nihilus.
He eats planets. He must be a fish then, because there's always a bigger fish. But who eats him then? If he eats planets, who's bigger than him?
I think his Padawan killed him.
His Padawan's the bigger fish. Okay, but yeah. Anyway, they rescue the princess, who's definitely a princess and not a body double. And then they go and they land on fan service. Sorry, Tatooine. You got some laggy video there, Sunshine.
Oh no, don't lag. Oh yeah, my internet connection is just. Oh boy.
Origins internet connection has left. It has left the building. Yeah, they land on fan service. Stuff happens. There's they get a child to race in a very dangerous sport because that's a normal thing to do.
And then they free him from slavery after cheating on a dice roll.
Yeah, so Liam Neeson, Qui-Gon Jinn, cheats at gambling. Steals a child.
Yep.
Takes him to Croissant. Coruscant. Just for clarification, I'm going to be taking the piss a lot today. I'm in one of those moods. It's not going to go well. The Jedi say this child is This child's too emotional. Grr.
We don't like him.
This child's just been taken away from his mother and the only planet he's ever known, and he's too scared, little bitch. God, we're not going to train him for that. Fuck. That's exactly what Yoda says.
In those words, little bitches, train him. We will not.
Yeah, the whole he's too emotional. Man's just been kidnapped from a desert planet to go to a planet with 3 trillion people. I think he might be a little concerned. I can't blame him. Yeah, then some shit happens in the Senate. Some boring ass politics. If I wanted to do that, we'd be covering politics today, but our political correspondent is somewhere. Say hi if you're in chat, Kieran. Then what happens? Then they bugger off back to Naboo.
Yeah, they go back to Naboo.
Then we get the best scene in all of Star Wars, where all the giant balls form on the field.
Yeah,
the big blue plasma balls.
Right. They do that, and then while that's happening, they go to the hangar, like the Queen and Naboo and whatnot. Oh, actually, no, we skipped a whole bit. We skipped the bit where we found out that the Queen wasn't the Queen, but the body double.
No, I alluded to that. It's fine.
You forget the bride blessed is in this film, Thomas.
He's not advertising mayonnaise. It's not worth having. His best work is the adverts for Hellmann's. I will shout out the company because it makes the superior mayonnaise. Heinz mayonnaise can fuck off.
Mayonnaise can fuck off, but that's a whole new topic.
No, let's not get into that argument. We can have that at the Christmas dinner argument because you put mayonnaise on your sprouts or whatever.
Yeah. So that all happens. They then get into a big war on the planet with the droids.
The child Anakin Skywalker tries spinning. It's a good trick.
It works.
Blows up some giant, what look like
donut.
Penis piercings. It looks like a Prince Albert missing the end of the phallus. It kind of does though.
Yeah, but I will give you that. It does.
What else happens?
And then
the most epic piece of music in any Star Wars film. Duel of the Fates. John Williams single-handedly saved this movie with that one track.
And to be fair, even without the track, the fight itself is pretty good.
Yeah.
Like it's like the one part of the film that is just like, yeah, this is great.
And then Liam Neeson's contract gets voided by Darth Maul.
Yep. and then you almost think, oh no. So has Obi-Wan Kenobi.
So has Ewan McGregor, okay. But then it turns out that Obi-Wan...
He's in the sequels. Not sequels, he's in the original, so he has to live.
Yeah. So Obi-Wan defeats Maul, and this proves the theory that it's not just about Obi-Wan having the high ground. The high ground just has to be present for Obi-Wan to win the fight.
Yep.
Proves as Obi had the low ground.
Well, that's the thing. Situation. Like, people who go really hardcore into, like... Actually, no, I'll bring that up when we get to the third film. We talk about that, I think, because then we'll cover the whole topic. But
okay, end of the first film. When was this film in the timeline? Wasn't it like 37 BBY or something? Before Battle of Yavin, for clarification. The Battle of Yavin is the event at the end of Episode 4, which all time in Star Wars is derived from.
Yes.
I'm going to have to load up Wikipedia a minute, which I still think is the best named of all the wiki knockoffs.
All the wikis.
And unfortunately, it's not called Wikipedia anymore, and it's just a shitty fandom site.
Oh yeah, it's fandom now.
Can fandom stop buying them all, please?
Oh no, because that's the actual film now. I don't want the actual film. I want the 32 BBY.
32 BBY. Okay.
32 BBY. So 32 years before the Battle of Yavin.
Just to give a quick clear up. The entire saga of the 3 main films in the prequels begins at 32 before Battle of Yavin and ends at 19 before Battle of Yavin. So, how many years is that? That's like 13 years.
13 years.
And yet, as you see at the start of Episode 2, Anakin grows like 20 years in that gap. I mean... I think Anakin's supposed to be younger than he's portrayed as, but unfortunately for him, Hayden Christensen can't pull off as young as Anakin would technically have to be. Yeah. To fit the timeline. Oh god, you put in. Oh, I forgot you put in Phantom, and it just comes up with like a billion things on
So,
Wikipedia.
so yeah, so Anakin was born in 41 BBY, so that makes him 9 years old when he's abducted.
Yeah, when he's stolen. How old would he have to be in Attack of the Clones?
He is 19 at the start of the Clone Wars.
Okay, so 10
actually,
years.
Not too bad. Actually, it's about right.
Okay, yeah.
The only thing is, he looks a lot older in Episode 3.
Yeah, he does after events.
But obviously, the Clone Wars and events, I guess you could see why he would age up like that. It does make sense.
That's what becoming a parent does to you. Spoilers.
But, yeah, Anakin was just your crush through all of the movies. I hope not the first film.
Yeah, that's a bit worrying if it's the first film. Unless you were also... Actually, to be fair, similar age at the time.
No, to be fair, yeah, no, age-wise, yeah, because, actually...
Doing it wrong, my crush was Jar Jar Binks.
Your crush was Jar Jar Binks? Oh!
My crush was Sheev, Darth Palpatine Sidious.
Oh, yes. He is Daddy Palpatine.
Let me be frank, Your Majesty. I thought you were Sheev. Yes, that's my real name. Frank Sheev, the Senate's Palpatine Sidious.
Frank Sheev the
No,
Frank Sheev Palpatine the Senate, all of the Sith.
All of the Sith. Oh, God.
That's a joke for the sequel films.
Yeah, that's a joke for the sequel films. Be here for that dumpster fire. It's gonna be spicy. Oh God!
Yes, the very Senate. It is me.
I can't.
The Senate.
I can't put that in from the chat I'm on. Hold on.
Oh, because you're on.
I can. Hold on. If I whip over to the Mac, I can. Here we go.
Yeah.
Bam. Here we go. Boom.
I am the Senate.
Yeah. So anyway, a bunch of disinteresting stuff happens. It must be disinteresting because George Lucas didn't give us 7 seasons of it. And then we get to the start of episode 2 with a ship being blown up.
Yep.
But it's okay because Padme's back to her old tricks of not being herself and being a stunt double
it was
instead.
Another body double. It was fine.
I have to say they really stole the thing from Spaceballs where it's, you idiots, you've captured their stunt double.
Yes.
It's literally that.
It's probably what George Lucas probably did do that.
Yeah, he probably did. I tell you what, Spaceballs, fantastic film. Just to go off on a little bit of a tangent, Spaceballs is the best Star Wars film.
And do you know what? I have to agree. After Tom showed it to me while we were playing Tower Unite, and we sat in a cinema and watched the whole film.
While we cannot technically condone piracy, there is
I mean, that didn't happen.
There is a version on YouTube, and it will run through anything that accepts a YouTube URL. So we could technically do a watch party. It's cool.
Oh my god, yeah, we can.
Oh, we need to do that. But yeah, so it's a body double. Padme's fine, but she needs protection. So, instead of hiring a bodyguard, of which there must be like at least 3 million of them on Coruscant, for
or just another body double.
Well, yeah, or
she
just
seems to be going through them enough.
No, instead they go for the elite ancient warrior order of the Jedi to do basic close protection services. Instead of just ringing up like any mercenary ever. To be fair, they probably could have hired the person who tried to assassinate her for enough money.
I think the problem probably comes down to they assume that with a Jedi they're not going to be bought out, whereas with a
I guess
with a mercenary, I guess you could.
I don't know. You give Yoda enough Special K and his Honda Civic back, it was a Honda Accord he had, wasn't it?
Honda Accord, yes, it was a Honda Accord.
Give him back his Honda Accord and enough Special K, and he'll be happy with that forever. He'll sell you anything. He'd sell younglings to Anakin.
Yes, so basically, then they go. Basically, what ends
we
up
transition to a scene in the lift with Obi-Wan and Anakin coming upstairs.
I forgot about that.
And then we see that Anakin's like 7 foot taller than he used to be, or whatever.
Kieran in chat, yeah, 100%.
Star Wars Jedi, yeah, literally. It's either a Jedi, or you can contract it out to Mighty. And they'll do it for you.
Don't do that. Mighty/TSS are shite.
They're both shite. Yeah, look, on another side note, Mighty have like fingers in every pie, like everything.
Well,
They came and did
G4S
construction.
has now become TSS. They've merged.
Oh god, even worse. To be fair, it could be
It's
worse. It could be Capita. So it's
very off topic. But in the
quite
Star Wars universe, having a TSS security guard would genuinely,
Yeah.
you might as well just jump off a cliff, because that'll probably,
Oh,
you know,
in any
if you're
universe.
in any universe, if you're going to be assassinated and you've got TSS as a bodyguard, you might as well just fucking
They're
die
ornamental.
anyway.
But yeah, anyway, so
they just won't turn up.
so stuff happens. They meet. What's the next important thing that happens is the worms. I'd say.
Oh yes. So like the little
There's a droid that drops some millipedes off at Padme's house, and she's very upset because she's scared of bugs.
That's something I've thought about this for years, and it's like, right, okay, so we hire this master assassin, as in Jango Fett. Jango Fett then hires an assassin.
He outsources it.
The assassin he hires then outsources it to a droid, which then outsources it to a fucking worm.
It's just outsourcing all the way down. It's like when they say you should get like a consulting gig and then outsource it to people on Fiverr or something. It's literally that, but worse. But for assassinations, it's so bad.
Fiverr assassination. So anyway,
yeah,
the Jedi sense the danger. Anakin jumps in heroically and slices the two worms in two, with a quick woo woo. He's like,
woo woo.
Also standing on top of Padme, basically. On her bed.
Baby, you want some fun?
He then jumps out a window.
No, Obi-Wan does
after
that.
the droid. Oh, Obi-Wan does that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. Sorry, it's because Anakin is always the one doing stupid shit. I forget that Obi-Wan also occasionally does stupid shit.
Obi-Wan knows that film's age rating and doesn't get cut to ribbons by the glass.
Well, not just that, but he also knows that he has plot armor. He knows he'll survive.
Yeah.
So
stuff happens. A chase ensues.
I actually watched a video the other day about doomed heroes from a channel called, I can't remember the channel's name now. I feel really bad. But I watch them all the time. But they one of their peeps did like a whole video essay of doomed heroes, and Star Wars was brought up as an option because episodes 1, 2, and 3, the ending roughly. So those heroes are doomed heroes because they have fates attached to them, and you kind of know what those fates will be.
That's very much Rogue One as well, though, isn't it?
Yeah, well, Rogue One, they are all doomed heroes, yeah. Although theirs comes down to death, whereas in some cases you don't necessarily have to die to be a doomed hero. But
yes,
just an interesting little tidbit there. But so Anakin gets a speeder as well, chases after. Obi-Wan's just like
we get a
nice along.
A nice chase through the sky.
Yep.
Very reminiscent of The Fifth Element.
Overly sarcastic productions. Thank you, Jess.
Very reminiscent of the police chase in The Fifth Element. Because it's like through a super dense flying urban landscape, which the Federal Aviation Authority would not approve of. Fortunately, the Star Wars FAA have been long defunct.
But yes, eventually Obi-Wan gets into the cart. the cart?
The cart. Gets into the minecart and rides off.
Gets into the minecart. They chase up to where the droid is because they end up going. They find where the assassin goes.
Yeah.
And then they go to the bar. Obi-Wan's like, I'm going for a drink, lol. While sends Anakin off to go and do that. Someone tries to sell him death sticks, so we get the famous lines of,
you don't want to
buy some death sticks? You do not want to sell me death sticks. You want to go home and rethink your life?
No, I don't want to. I'm perfectly fine making these decisions, you ass.
And then
we have the most important thing to ever happen in the prequels. Because really, this one dart fucks up everything for the separatist movement.
Oh, yeah.
It really does. A poison dart.
It doesn't, because the whole idea is the separatists were doomed from the start anyway because of who's pulling the strings anyway.
Well, yeah, but this is how they find the clones.
Yeah. Yeah.
The important thing for the whole Clone Wars. Otherwise, it'd have to be like an anonymous letter dropped off at the Jedi Temple. I'd just be like,
oh, hey, there's a planet here that was wiped off your record somehow.
one day the Kaminoans just rock up and be like, "Aight, boys, where do you want them parked?" And it's just all the clones. It's but a dart happens, and then we meet a space Texan, who runs a diner because that's what makes him Space Texan. That and he's the size of a small planet. And he's like, "Well, what do you know?" and some other bollocks. And then we find out this dart's from a planet called Camino, and the Jedi archives must be incomplete. I feel like I'm just quoting shit now.
That's effectively what this stream was going to turn into from the very beginning.
Then anyway, whole bunch of shit ensues. A child's like, "Yo, what if someone deleted it?" You know, a kid's explaining to the old people how the internet works. That's basically it. And then they're like, that kind of makes sense. So then Obi-Wan goes off to this missing planet. And he finds that the planet's not missing, it's just not on the maps. You know, it's strange. Weird.
It's raining.
It's because they hadn't bought the newest map. That's what it is. They hadn't paid for the TomTom lifetime upgrade package.
TomTom upgrade.
So fuck paying for GPS upgrades on sat-navs. It's like the biggest fucking scam going.
Yeah.
It's like ink for printers. It's cheaper to buy a new fucking printer than get ink. It's cheaper to buy a new TomTom sat-nav than buy a map up.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking ridiculous.
Like 50 quid to refill my ink on my printer.
I just don't print anything. If I have to, I'll, I don't know, fucking write it out. I want to get a laser printer at some point.
Yeah,
I don't really need one. But yeah, anyway, so Obi-Wan gets there and is like, "Yo, what's occurring?" To these lanky bastards, the Kaminoans. And then the Kaminoans like, "You're a Jedi, cool. So what your blokes came here like 10 years ago and
Master Cypher Dias.
Master Cyphus Dyfus.
Cyphus.
Master Cypher Dias came here 10 years ago and ordered like a fuck ton of clones for banter, I guess. And then he's like, cool. They were paid for, right? Yeah.
Well, he's like, cool. Only problem with that is he died like years ago.
Yeah. I don't remember ordering these. What? I bet that's what it was. He just got like really high and ordered.
he bought those death sticks.
He bought the death sticks and ordered a fuck ton of clones on Amazon, and that's what happened.
Amazon Prime, except the Prime broke, so he couldn't get it next day.
It's like when the Weatherspoons app came out, and everyone was trying to see what the limit on adding things to the basket was, and then they accidentally click buy and end up with like 99 fucking gammons or something. Not the angry racist northerner, but the pork. End up with 99 gammon, egg, and chips or whatever. Or like someone would come down and be like, "Just fuck off, get out right now." Actually, I do know someone who got kicked out of Spoons for that. It was 99 bowls of peas, but still. But yeah, then Obi-Wan goes and meets the source of the cloning material, the original copy. It's like photocopying with people, and it's this nice bloke, and he's like, "Yeah, cool. I'm definitely not a bounty hunter. What do you mean? Fuck off. Get out of here."
Yeah, just hide. Oh shit, my door couldn't hide.
Oh shit, my ship is literally called Slave. Could this look any worse for me?
Yeah. Oh dear.
Oh no.
And then they get to a fight.
Yeah. Then a fight ensues.
And then Obi-Wan chases after him and gets chased instead, I think.
Yeah. Then there's a space chase, and then the bounty hunter Jango Fett drops the base, and it blows up some rocks.
Yep.
Epic sounding bombs. Best sounding bombs I've ever heard.
Yeah.
So good. It kind of reminds me of the THX like intro noise a bit. at the start of a movie. Been
probably
mastered in
sampled that.
THX audio. Probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, then Obi-Wan gets down onto another planet and finds a droid factory. So he managed to find 2 entire army productions in a single day.
Single
This
day.
bloke's doing more work than the rest of the fucking Jedi combined. Like, all them wankers sat around in their fucking council chambers, Mace Windu sat there like, "Aight, motherfucker, what's occurring?" Yoda there being a little green shit. Kit Fisto, my boy, just vibing. And then Obi-Wan's out here just, actually doing shit.
Yeah, and then in episode 3, he sat on the council doing nothing.
Yeah.
Well, except he's still doing everything.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we forgot to say, like, all along at the same time, Anakin and Padme have been, like, fucking off gallivanting around the planet.
No. Stop with the off. Just fucking.
They hadn't quite got to fucking until, like, halfway through the film.
True, but isn't that the weird bit? Like, the whole time everyone's doing all this shit. That's the bit where they, like...
Obi-Wan's...
I don't like sand.
Yeah, literally. Obi-Wan's out there, like... I'm finding all these fucking armies. If he finds a third army in a day, he gets like a free drink or whatever.
Yeah.
He's filled his army finding punch card, and he gets a free latte.
Whereas Anakin's just like horny as shit because
like,
he stood next to this woman in full leather.
Oh, Padme.
Cuts open her apple. They cut open the apple, and he uses the Force to like grab it, and it's all
I tell
weird.
You what, have you watched the Killian Experience video of the Star Wars Prequels?
Possibly.
Because some of the jokes he makes in it are so, like, he explains that scene as girls dig that because when they use magic, it's considered evil.
Oh,
yeah. when women love men using magic because when they use it, they're burned at the stake. I'm just like, fuck's sakes.
But then they have this whole bit of, I don't like sand, it's coarse, rough.
That's straight up
everywhere.
The second most cringe dialogue I've ever heard. And
But after that scene, they fuck. So
yeah, after that scene,
worked.
they just get down to
doing
the dirty.
Pickup line, apparently. Calls the rough and gets everywhere.
Oh no! Oh no! Yeah. Then they like do some rolling around in the proverbial hay. Apart from the hay's still grass; it's not cut yet. And then they ride some fat cows or whatever, and then they fuck off to Tatooine, and Anakin gets in some physical therapy by murdering an entire tribe of sand people.
That's right, and then
his mum dies.
Gets angry. Yeah.
And he gets angry, and then they fuck off to save Obi-Wan, who's been captured at this point.
Yeah.
By Count Dooku.
And then
Christopher Lee.
Yeah, Christopher Lee.
Do I have to say, Christopher Lee is one of those people who's like, he's had an epic career in film, and then you find out some of the shit he did in World War II is still classified, and you're like, his actual life was still somehow way more epic than his film life.
Yeah,
like,
some of the stuff he did is classified, because wasn't he like...
He was military intelligence.
Yeah. So, like, a load of the stuff he did is still not public knowledge, and probably won't be for...
Ever.
Ever, yeah.
But yeah, so Anakin and Padme fuck off. There's like a big thing where they go through a factory. It's basically like the shit abandoned factory of every like game ever. Like they have one in Halo, they have one in whatever. Like every game has an abandoned factory at some point, or an active factory, and that's that scene in the trilogy. And then they all get captured, and then it's time for gladiatorial combat against 3 weird fucking creatures. We got like a mad bastard Siberian tiger, a praying mantis, and whatever the other one was. Was it like a rhino or something?
It was something weird.
So they went with like extinct cat, giant insect, and then cool just something you find in Africa.
Yeah.
You know. I think it had like more horns, but so it might be like a trinoceros or something. But and then the heroes escape, and then it's like, oh no, they're surrounded by droids, and then the clones are here to save the day, and so are all the Jedi, and somehow they managed to disperse throughout the entire fucking complex without a single Geonosian being like, "Oi, cunt, what are you doing here?"
It's like, hang on a minute, what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah, you got to hand it to the Geonosians. They are like the least racist people there. They didn't give a fuck that there was like all sorts of species just wandering around their thing in their super secretive planet where they're building an army. They're just like, he's probably all right, you know. He's definitely not here to kill us.
Dave, you all right, mate? You all right, Dave?
All right, lad.
Dave the Geonosian.
How'd you do? And then we see the best like atmospheric craft in Star Wars land, which is the LAAT. I love them things. And then like there's a big battle thing, and then the battle gets bigger and goes outside the arena. It's where we first see a lot of like hardware we'd see in the Clone Wars again. So we see the ATTE, All Terrain Tactical Enforcer. We see like a super heavy artillery version of that. We see some pretty sick pieces of like roller droid, whatever they're called.
And also they were like the Geonosians were trying to send off those massive like big orb things, weren't they?
They're the cores. So the things that I referred to as a Prince Albert earlier.
Yeah.
It's the core of it's called a Lucra Hulk battleship or something. Can't remember the exact battle cruiser, I think. Lucra Hulk battle cruiser. And it's like the core module of that, and they can land on planets. Just that bit though, because why would you need the rest of your starship? Just a little.
But it's like watching them get like shot down and then just coming down and
it's so good.
Just
so
good.
That laser artillery they had on those ATTs was fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Where do I buy one of those? Like seriously, it would really solve the problem we have with seagulls in this country. Might accidentally take out a few civilian airliners while at it, but what can you do? No, we're not that mean. But yeah.
Big old laser.
Big old. But from there, there's like a chase. Count Dooku's on a bike. And Anakin and his lads are on a... Anakin, Obi-Wan and Padme are on a LAAT, and then Padme falls off, and then Anakin's like, no! I must save...
My love!
My queen! Where are you?
And then Obi-Wan gives him a pep talk.
Obi-Wan's like...
And they carry on.
Keep in your pants, little shit. And then there's like a hanger fight. Anakin loses his hand.
Obi-Wan gets tiny little cuts.
Both of them get their asses whooped, and then Yoda comes in like, "Alright, motherfuckers, I'm here to finish this."
That was cool. That was cool.
Yoda's nuts when he actually goes in the field, but Yoda does like fuck all the entire series. Yeah. Apart from
basically,
like,
when
twice.
Yoda has to fight, he just fucking goes, and it's great.
Yeah.
And then when he's not, he the problem is he's very narrow-minded, and what gets into like original trilogy / sequel trilogy territory. But he eventually, when he's dead by that point, is like,
spoilers.
Fucked up, I did.
I fucked this up.
So he does eventually realize he was a fucking idiot.
Yeah. Then there's like a big fight. Count Dooku fucks off in a solar sailor, which is actually a pretty sick looking little aircraft.
Yeah.
A spacecraft. It looks so cool, and it's actually based on a proper concept. How that thing has hyperdrive, though, I'm not entirely sure. But I'm guessing they designed it as a solar sailor, so it doesn't have like an ion trail that it can be traced. It's never explained in the movie as to why he has that particular ship, but a solar sail. It's an actual concept in physics, and it has been tested in space, and they do generate momentum. Technically, the solar panels on the International Space Station generate a tiny bit of momentum from photons hitting them. It's a really strange thing in physics, where photons are technically matter, but they're technically not. It's like all sorts of fucked. But anyway, so it uses the power of photons to move a ship. I think NASA were working on a prototype spacecraft. They might have launched. But yeah, either way, he uses that, and then he goes back to Coruscant and has a meeting with the suspicious shadowy figure of definitely not Chancellor Palpatine. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Definitely not the Senate.
Couldn't be.
And then that's the end of the film again. Yep. To be fair, the Star Wars tune slaps.
Oh yeah,
100%
it does.
And then
some of the John Williams music.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention, at the end of that movie, we have the line, spawns the entire thing. Begun the Clone Wars have. So let's
Then
just
we get
let's
whole TV series.
well, technically we've got 2 and a movie because there was the original 2D animated Clone Wars.
Oh yes, where Shaggy is just a fucking Jedi in that one.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know anything about that one. Apparently, it's quite cool, but I've not seen any of it. And then
Mace Windu punches a droid so hard and so
I think he
fast
punches like
that
a bunch of them.
yeah,
It's like
just
kind of
fucking.
nuts.
But like he punches one up like he's Agent Smith against Neo when he does the whole like fast moving punch, punch, punch.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's pretty cool to be fair. It's pretty badass.
And then in 2008, Dave Filoni came along and gave us the Clone Wars movie, which we're just rolling into the Clone Wars series.
Yeah, that's right.
Altogether, because it's the starting point of the Clone Wars series. And yeah, like some stuff happens. I can't really remember it. We get introduced to like the ship, the Twilight or something. That was a TV series. The Twilight something. Twilight Princess? No. Either way, they find a new ship.
Yeah.
That's sort of, I think it's present in other bits of the Clone Wars as sort of like a hark back. But then we get what is actually quite a cool series, like quite a cool animated series.
Oh yeah,
and it's also where we get
they recently finished it as well. They recently did a final series.
My favorite part of the Clone Wars is the fact that we do get to see a hell of a lot more of the absolute best Star Destroyer ever, the Venator. It has such a better design. It's not just a fucking Dorito.
Yeah.
It's got some shape to it, and it's just the twin bridge design is just better. It's hence why the Queen Elizabeth class aircraft carriers Britain have just built have 2 bridges. So you keep fleet command and the ship control separate. And technically either one could take the redundancy, take over the role. In Venator, I'm not so sure for the ship. It's probably classified.
Yeah.
But we get to see the Venator, we get to see a lot more of the LAAT, and Jesus fucking Christ, the Clone Wars is a bit dark. There's terrorist attacks, torture.
Yeah.
So many people die.
Death. Yeah, death. Like it doesn't shy away from the dark side of Star Wars.
It's like
and what war is, I guess in that sense.
Let's make this show in animation, which I know a lot of people are going to get pissed off at this, but animation is, I definitely at the time, was more aimed at a younger audience.
Well, considering both Clone Wars and Rebels was on Disney XD, which is the kids' channel, yes.
I mean, there's always been animation aimed at adults, but
that's called that.
No, stop it. No, it's become more prevalent recently for there to be more adult-oriented animation. Of course, there's people out there who get very pissed off when you say it. But this particular show, despite how dark it was aimed at children. It was marketed towards children. At the end of the day, it was a big toy-selling exercise.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But it filled in a lot of plot in between.
Loads of plot. You got lots of great fights, great character building moments.
I remember the episode where there was a terrorist attack on the bloody Senate when those cleaning droids went in and became bombs, and it was like, shit.
Yeah,
it's like nuts. But yeah, like the Clone Wars is epic. I haven't watched the final season. To be fair, I've watched like most of it, but not chronologically. I've not sat down.
See, the Clone Wars kind of did the same thing that the Harry Potter books / movies did.
It matured
with the audience.
Oh yeah.
So like the first book and movie, a couple of first, they're very childish, very child friendly, and then as it got further on, as the audience grew up, it got more mature and more as the team, as
the development team got better at it. It's like you say with the Harry Potter films. Not only were the cast growing up, but the team working with them. They've been working with them for years and years at this point. It just got better and like easier to film as time went on.
Yeah, well, because they all knew each other. They all knew how it worked. They knew what ticked. They knew how to get people going.
They knew how to make Warner Bros. A fuck ton of money.
Yep. Yeah, and I think the same is with the Clone Wars. Dave Filoni got better.
Yeah,
He got more in depth with the lore
he
because he was
earned his hat.
effectively Lucas's right hand man when it came to the lore of Star Wars as
Yeah,
well. So
Dave
the fact that
Filoni.
they haven't made Filoni in charge of Lucasfilms instead of
Yeah,
that woman who is in
Kathleen
charge at the
Kennedy.
moment
Yeah,
amazes me.
Dave
She has
Filoni
made so many bad decisions.
is to modern Star Wars as what's his face is to Marvel. What's his name? Jon Favreau.
Jon Favreau,
Yeah, Dave Filoni made.
Although, ironically, Jon Favreau also does a load of work on the things like The Mandalorian and things. So
he does. Favreau kicked off the MCU. Still up there as one of the best films in the MCU.
Yeah,
and Filoni really matured the Clone Wars, really brought it up to what we respect it as now.
The same can be said with the other animated TV show, Rebels.
Yeah.
Rebels started, and I've watched all of Rebels. I mean, I've watched all of Clone Wars as well, but a long time ago now. But
in a galaxy far, far away.
Rebels started, yes. Rebels started as a very childish show, very kid-friendly. And then as they went on seasons, it got dark. I'm talking like they found the dead corpse of a Jedi Master in a prison, which was used as a... Actually, that might have been season 1 still, but either way...
Yeah.
They, which was used as a trap to lure them in by the Inquisitors. So, Rebels also sort of did that thing of the animation style was different, but it matured with its audience.
Yeah.
And I like that storytelling.
To be fair, though, it's also something to be like modern demographics. I'd say modern children are a lot more used to death than children were years and years. Especially in the mid 20th century. I mean, you go back 5 centuries, kids would probably be used to death because of high infant mortality rate, they're losing siblings, and a lot of people lived an arable lifestyle where the livestock die all the time. But for modern sensibilities, introducing kids to death is quite a step. And for TV shows, just go out and do that is kind of nuts. But so we had the Clone Wars, and then we go on to the last film, the last labeled Star Wars film,
which is a very key date because it was set in 19 BBY, which is a very significant date.
19 baby.
19 baby. Because a lot of things happen within that 1 year. A lot of things happen in that 1 year. Starting from the beginning of the film, where they're, just attacking a Star Destroyer, saving Chancellor Palpatine, who has been captured.
Kidnapped. Yeah, so there's a big battle, the Battle of Coruscant, happening in space over Coruscant. That opening sequence is fucking incredible. So
I watched it in the cinema when it released with my dad. So I have really fond memories of it.
Watching those ships just broadside each other, it's just... it does it for me. It really does. It is amazing.
Seeing how Obi-Wan and Anakin have grown as well, especially because back then we didn't have those TV shows to fill in the gaps.
Yeah, interestingly, the Clone Wars came out after Revenge.
Yeah. So, but then again, not unused to Star Wars doing that anyway, considering the original trilogy was set after the events of the prequel and whatnot. But so obviously showing how far they've come as characters as well. Obi-Wan's on the Jedi Council as a master now, so he's obviously grown and developed as time's gone on. And then of course Anakin sporting his longer hair and whatnot. Clearly not a Padawan anymore, so he's clearly grown.
He's a Knight.
He
needs to... if he was a pawn, he could have gone to the other side of the chessboard and been promoted to Queen, but alas, he's a Knight instead.
So they get on the Star Destroyer in question. They fight a new character who's been introduced.
It's not Star Destroyer, is it? It's
No,
it's a CS Confederate starship. What are they called?
Oh, that's a good point. Because Star Destroyer is just the clones.
Yeah. Confederate starship. Confederacy of Independence. Just tell me what fucking flavor ship it is. Yeah, ding dong.
Anyway,
Where's
when
Kieran when you
introduced
need
to
him?
a new character. Well, he is new if you didn't watch the original 2003 Clone Wars TV series.
Yeah.
Because General Grievous was introduced in that. But anyway, we are introduced to this character in the movie. He has asthma. Poor guy. They fight his droids. They get captured. Obi-Wan makes a funny joke about we're smarter than this.
It's just called a Subjugator class heavy cruiser. It's not got a cool name. So disappointing. Anyway, yeah. Where were you?
But I'm trying to remember the fucking order of it. Anakin kills Dooku first.
Yeah.
And then they try and escape, get captured.
Obi-Wan's incapacitated.
Yeah, in the fight.
Palpatine says, do it.
Do it, yep.
And then Anakin kills Dooku. And Palpatine's
Yep.
like, alright, let's go. No, leave Obi-Wan behind.
Because, if Obi-Wan's alive, this could be really bad for me.
Yeah. And then Anakin takes
like,
Obi-Wan
no,
anyway. I'll take my friend with me.
They get captured.
Yeah. Then we see Tentacle McGee, also known as General Grievous. He's got many arms. I was trained in the Jedi arts by Count Dooku. Grievy, my boy, do the windmill and see what happens. Another Killian joke, but it just fits so well. Killian did so well writing that episode.
I need to. I may have watched them. I can't remember.
It's like
so they get captured. They fight his guards. Grievous escapes because he's a wuss.
He cracks open a window because it's getting a bit warm, which is a problem when you're in space.
And then
they fly half a ship.
Land. Yeah, they fly half a ship. Another happy landing.
To be fair, like in that landing scene, it has some of the cool details that I like to notice in things. Mm-hmm. Especially in fictional universes, they don't even have to put the details in. But the fact that they had little firefighting space aircraft hovering around the scene in the background, it just adds so much depth to the scene. It is so good. I love that sort of world building in something as big a scale of Star Wars. It's brilliant.
Yeah, because it wasn't necessary.
No, it absolutely wasn't. But the fact that they had those little things. And in fact, I've got a book over there on my bookshelf that has like has like a bunch of examples of spacecraft from Star Wars, and they are like listed in there with all little details and everything.
Yeah. I might have the same sort of book actually. I've got Complete Vehicle. This one.
No, hold on. I'll go grab it a sec. I'll go grab it. Keep talking.
Yeah. So I've got this ship here. Oh, there's a Geonosian fighter, everyone. Got a nice Geonosian fighter there. Yeah, I've got all sorts in here. Oh, there's the core ship that we were talking about. Look at that. Big old ship. I love these. They've got all sorts of... Yeah, Tom, here's the core ship I was telling you we were talking about earlier. Look at that. Oh, okay, so very similar. Mine's a hardback.
Yeah, mine's part of a series. So there's like one of the droids, one of the characters, one of the weapons, and one of the planets as well. There was a copy of the droids one in the library at the high school I went to.
Here you go, Darth Vader's ship. This book was 30 quid, by the way, new.
Yeah. This one was only 15. So,
although this one is this book has been updated to include key vehicles from The Force Awakens, so it does include some sequel.
Yeah, this is a bit older than that. This one's got the Death Star 2 in it. I don't know if it has got the little fire ships, but yeah, that's the sort of detail I love to find in the background.
I've also got the Rogue One book, like the official Rogue One book.
The Ultimate Guide. In fact, have you ever read any of the novelizations of the Star Wars film?
I read 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
Yes. They add in details that are not in the films as well.
They add little bits of nuance. The thing is, they tend to be like they're heavily derived from the screenplay.
Yeah.
So they're kind of
a lot of it is like cut content, I guess.
Yeah, or a lot of it's things that is written in the screenplay that we just don't get across in the films. But yeah, I'll have to have a if I can.
And as a final book, I've got this one as well. I've got this final book as well, the Ultimate Star Wars book. It's a thick boy too. Look at that shit.
A chunky boy.
Look at
that. Oh, this would have been helpful to have. This has got like some detail. Oh, hold on. Apart from the timeline they're using, this is BSW4 before Star Wars 4.
Oh, is that?
Yeah. I mean, I guess technically that's still on the same timeline as before the Battle of Yavin. But it's just Battle of Yavin is used to refer to it as trying to keep any information you get in canon. But yeah, anyway, so where are we up to? We're up to them landing half a ship.
Yep, they land half a ship. Another happy landing.
Yeah. Then some stuff happens.
Everyone's like, I'm not brave enough for politics.
Oh, yeah.
Leaves them to it. Anime.
Anime. Then we find out that Anime is pregnant.
Padme and Anakin. I got Anakin.
No, that is legally their ship name now. That is their couple name. Right, that's it. This is happening. I'm putting that on Twitter.
Oh no. They are anime.
Anakin and Padme's couple name is officially. If I could spell, I'd put it on there, but I can't spell. Annaline. No, that's not what his fucking name is.
Annaline. That sounds like a medicine. Oh, I really need some Annaline.
I think it might be.
Padme's
couple name is officially Anime. There we go. Beautiful. Put that on Twitter before Twitter dies. Rest in peace. Twitter.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That'll be in the podcast on Sunday, I'm sure.
Yeah. So we find out the big plot twist. Dun, dun, dun. Padme's pregnant. What a bitch. No. Anakin doesn't understand how it works because he was raised in a religious order.
Yeah. What? How does this work?
How does this happen? What? What does this mean? But yeah,
what is baby?
What is baby? How do you make baby? Basically, like, some shit happens. I feel like the intervening stuff, it's all okay. So it's basically Palpatine wants Anakin to be on the council as his representative, and then
the council do not like it.
Then we get the whole thing of you're allowed to be on the council, but you do not get the rank of master.
What? That's unfair. Where?
And then
although
take a seat,
conveniently there is a seat for him. There is conveniently a seat for him.
Yeah.
So he gets put on the council.
Yeah, I imagine the council secretary spoke to Sheev's secretary or whatever.
Yeah,
They all link up. And then the council's like, Lamau, spy on the Chancellor for us. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then then Padme's like, yo, tell the Chancellor I think the Confederacy might be onto something here. And Anakin's like, Jesus fucking Christ, everyone wants me to speak to this bastard now, don't they? Fuck. You get one powerful friend and it's like...
And then after the spying starts, he literally is just, oh no, we get the opera scene. Forget about the opera scene.
There's the opera scene, and
have you ever heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
I should have gone through and put some sound clips on my bloody thing for this.
Hang on. Hang on, it's okay. It's okay. I will read it out to you.
Wait, hold on, no, hold on. I can actually just do this. I don't know if you'll be able to hear this. Wait, hold on, I can make it so you listen. The tragedy of Macbeth. Why is Darth Plagueis the Wise not the top option? Here we go. Oh, you can't hear it on the podcast, bollocks. Hold on here. Crank it up. Hear it now?
No.
No. Okay. It's just straight. I'm not picking it up on stream.
So powerful.
Oh.
So
You ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
I don't know why my road things was behaving. But yeah.
Did you ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? No, I thought not. It's not a story the Jedi would tell you. Sith legend. Darth Plagueis, Dark Lord of the Sith, so powerful and so wise, he could use the Force to influence the midichlorians. Bullshit, by the way. Midichlorians. Fucking bullshit. To create life. He had such knowledge of the dark side, he could even keep the ones he cared about from dying. He actually says it like that, by the way.
Yeah.
From dying.
Oh my.
He could actually save people from death. Dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural. What happened to him? He became so powerful, the only thing he was afraid of was losing his power. Which eventually, of course, he did. Unfortunately, he taught his apprentice everything he... Then his apprentice killed him. That apprentice was definitely not me. In his sleep. How ironic. He could save others from death, but not himself. It's impossible to learn this power. Not from a Jedi.
Yeah, so we get this whole scene, and it's effectively Sheev soft probing of Anakin's reaction to, oh, this geezer has dark fucking Force powers. It's sus, if you ask me.
Well, it's not even that. It's more of the, how does he know this?
Well, no, yeah, but it's like, if he clearly knows about this, he definitely knows some shit about the dark side.
I mean, yes, of course.
I mean, it's obvious to us. I think Anakin's like 3 brain cells were too busy. One of them's worrying about shagging Padme, and the other 2 are too busy humping each other, trying to keep him alive. So, but yeah, then again, I guess it kind of makes sense that Anakin's exceedingly naive. Again, he was raised in a fucking religious order. The Jedi are effectively a cult, and it's a bit concerning.
Although they were never meant to be like that.
No,
they
weren't.
Just fell into that.
It's because they never had anything to fight against for like however
well,
long
that's
the
the
Sith
thing.
were in hiding.
They beat the Sith like 1,000 years ago, and then they were like, "Fuck."
What do we do now? I'm bored now.
And now the Sith have come back. They're like, "Fuck, we're not ready for this."
Like, bugger! Told you we shouldn't have quit Tuesday training in exchange for going to the poker game. Bollocks, sleds.
Oh fuck. Yeah. So so he finds out about all that, and then some other stuff happens on the side as well.
Obi-Wan's fucked off to a planet where he's in a hole.
That's right.
They live in a hole. I can't remember what they're called.
Oh! Yeah, I know the ones, because it's the ones the Grand Inquisitor comes from, except the Grand Inquisitor in live action looked way worse than the originals. I can't remember the name now, but yes.
Oh, Moon. M-U-U-N, isn't it?
That's it.
Maybe? Oh no, Frozen World of Scipio. No, it's not them. They just look quite the same. I don't fucking know. Either way, there's some geezers they live in a hole. Obi-Wan gets the big lizard.
That's right, he goes after General Grievous.
Yeah, and Obi-Wan has like the big steel bollocks to jump down into a room full of fucking droids and enemies and just be like, hello there.
Hello there.
Hello there.
Hello there.
General Kenobi. I can't do a Grievous voice.
General Kenobi.
No, that's more
That
Brian
just sounds like
Blessed.
an asthmatic old man.
Yeah.
So they get to a big old fight.
There's
Obi-Wan
like a
Kenobi
chase.
effectively was the only Jedi that could take on Grievous properly because of his form of fighting style, which allows him to be very defensive. Sarisu,
Yeah.
Form 3. I like that they introduced the forms.
Yeah. This is deeper
I like that
knowledge
there are
than I
forms that,
remember.
like, yeah, so he's super defensive, which he started doing after episode 1 because of, you know, he realized, oh fuck, Ataru, eventually I'm going to get old and not be able to do it, whereas at least with Sarisu, I could just...
Because of Liam Neeson. It's all Liam Neeson's fault.
Yeah.
Because of his very specific set of skills.
Yeah. So, yep, he kills General Grievous with a blaster shot. How uncivilized.
Yeah. Oh, Yoda's on
Kashyyyk.
Sheik as well. And you have to like wonder, again, this is a thought that Killian had in his video, but I'm going to just put it here. So when they asked for tree painted uniforms for the clones, how the fuck did the Kaminoans know what a tree is? Because their entire planet is water and they just live above
water. Yeah. I mean, maybe they get sent plans.
Maybe.
Just get sent plans to make it or something.
It was like you looked around their facilities in episode 2 and there was not a single, like, even fake plant in an office or anything, was there?
No. No.
And it's just like, how the fuck do they know what greenery looks like?
I mean, I'm assuming they probably just sent plans in or something to make it work.
A picture of a tree and be like this.
Yeah. Do it like this, mate.
Yeah, like, there's the Wookiees are fighting the Wookiees and clones are fighting the Trade Federation. We see some pretty cool pieces of machinery. The Juggernaut tank, that thing's fucking sick. I'm so disappointed that we never really see it again in Star Wars. We see like there's one in Rebels in there.
Yeah.
Or am I thinking? Sure. Or it might be an ATT actually.
There might be one in the Respawn Star Wars game as well, because you go to Kashyyyk on that game.
Yeah,
so I wouldn't be surprised there was one there.
I love the Juggernaut and the Lego set of it as well. So good. Star Wars Lego is on an entirely different level, but that will be covered in a specific Lego episode. But yeah, and then like a bunch of shit happens, and then we cut back to Coruscant, where Anakin's vibing in the Chancellor's office because, you know, where else is he going to be? Not at his job. He's too busy chatting up the Chancellor. You know, he's just got a thing for politicians.
I mean, to be fair, he was asked to spy on him, so he's just...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know, but like, the stupid part is you don't really get someone's advisor to do spying. It's a bit silly.
Yeah.
Like, you go after their secretary or something. Or you get, like, Dave when he comes in to refurbish the office, get him to install some secret cameras or some shit.
Wow. So, yeah, so he effectively ends up admitting that he is the Dark Lord.
I am the Dark Lord of the Sith.
Sidious. And then Anakin's like, oh, I should kill you now. I'd love to kill you right now, but I'm not going to. Because that would have been roll credits, end of Star Wars.
Roll credits. Yeah.
So,
but then
Anakin goes back, tells Mace Windu. Mace Windu is then like, right, well, you stay here, because if what you say is true, then I will trust you. Goes off with 3 other masters. They all get killed.
just think like, hey, lads. You know, 4 of us against the Dark Lord of the Sith.
Yeah. Well, they all get killed off, except Mace, who kicks Palpatine's ass.
Because he's a badass motherfucker.
There are many people who are like, no, Palpatine would have won. He was just holding back for Anakin to come. No, I subscribe to the thought that Mace Windu won fair and square in the lightsaber duel because of his fighting style. Palpatine was more of a Force user than a lightsaber duelist. He was a master of all forms and could kill most people with a lightsaber, but Mace Windu was a fighter.
I'd say that Palpatine's hubris is really what led to him being in that losing situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was
thing.
overly confident in what he can do.
Yeah.
Well, hubris is his like underlying issue.
Yeah. That is like his crux. That's what kills him off.
His sin is pride.
Yeah. So Mace Windu wins that duel because he is maybe not necessarily the better fighter either, but his fighting style taps into the dark side and the dark side of his opponent, which Palpatine is effectively dark side personified.
Incarnate,
so his fighting styles were no match for that in that sense. So I subscribe to the thought that Mace Windu won that fight due to hubris and fighting style kind of match up, just,
Yeah, it was a
working
perfect
in his
storm
favor.
for
Yeah.
Mace Windu. And then Anakin has to come along, be a little shit and ruin it all.
Yeah.
That little
Chops his fucking
bastard.
Well, that's the thing, because Mace Windu had a power called Shatterpoint. So he could sort of read into his opponent's... He could, like, read into the future slightly. I believe is
Was
what
this
it
a
is.
bonus action, or did he have to do it instead of fighting?
So it's basically like... effectively, it lets them see weak points in the opponent.
So it's
which
like
I think
VATS.
is another reason why he won.
It's like VATS. You can see what percentage hit you're going to get.
Yeah. They could occur in individuals and events. So the event of Anakin going to chop off his hand, that if Mace wasn't so hardline focused on killing Palpatine, he would have probably stopped Anakin chopping his hand off as well.
Yeah.
But because he was so hardline focused on that one point...
Yeah, well, it kind of makes sense that he would be, though, because let's be honest, Palpatine was the most dangerous thing the Jedi had faced in a millennia.
Yeah.
He was the resurgence of the whole thing the Jedi were fighting.
Yeah. So, because he was so hardcore focused on this one issue, he didn't
anticipate
or feel the Force flow change when Anakin's like, no, and then slices off his fucking hand.
And then Palpatine yeets that bitch out a window.
Yep. Goodbye.
With the power of lightning. Thunderbolts and lightning. Very, very frightening. Sheath, Galileo.
And then after Anakin's done that, he's like, oh no, what did I do? Oh, well, fuck it. I guess I'm evil now.
Well, shit, how am I going to explain this? Might as well just sign up. You got any paperwork I need to sign? Or is it just like, yep, this is me now?
I know that's not how it goes. Like, I know it's not how it feels. But in the movie, it's very much, oh no, I did this bad thing.
Well, fuck it.
Oh, well.
The thing is, though, it's like really hard to convey thought process in cinema. It is like nigh on impossible without monologuing, and the Star Wars films are absolutely not the film for monologuing or narration.
I think that his thought process in that moment, and maybe people have written on this, I don't know. My thinking on the thought process is, well, they're not going to accept me back in the Jedi now because I've just killed Mace Windu, basically. So they're not going to even let me back. They'll probably kill me on sight.
You know, the stupid part is he then goes to do much, much worse things anyway.
Worse. Yeah. He's like, well, fuck it. I've started.
In for a penny, in for a pound.
So
yeah. And then the big thing happens.
Execute Order 66.
Yep, Order 66 comes up. 6 McNuggets and fries. Anakin goes and collects it. Finds out it's a Happy Meal. Gets pissed off.
Kills the kids.
Kills the kids in revenge.
Master Skywalker, there's too many of them. Wait, you called me Master.
Yeah, literally.
Let you live.
Literally, that kid gave him the thing he wanted most, to be a fucking master. He still never was a master because the Sith don't have the rank of master. Well, actually, no, I guess they do because it's Master and Apprentice.
Sith Lord. Master and Apprentice.
But he was never the master.
That's the way. He effectively became an apprentice again.
He's a fucking Wally, this geezer, I swear.
Yeah. Over-emotional child.
Yeah. This is why you don't let kids play with plasma-based weaponry. People.
Yeah. Absolutely. So then he does all the evil things. Yoda senses it and beheads the 2 clones with him.
Obi-Wan gets blasted into a pool of water.
Yeah,
by an ATTE. He's like, yeah, cool, whatever, lads.
Unfortunately for his clones, his clone commander gave him his lightsaber back before getting
mistake to make. We see like a big montage of Jedi dying.
And this also merges into season 7, the final season of Clone Wars, because the final season of Clone Wars is during Order 66 as it's happening.
Yes.
So
Order
Really cool.
66 hits a lot harder if you've watched like any of Clone Wars and you know who half of these people you're watching get killed. Because we see like Plo Koon, Coyote-Mundi.
Yeah, because they died just so suddenly. Whereas actually in the Clone Wars, they're badasses. Like,
yeah,
uh,
it's kind of the juxtaposition. You get to see like all these badass Jedi, and then they just get shot in the back like a bunch of bitches.
Yeah, and can I just say, Plo Koon is one of my favorites. Favorite Jedi Master. He genuinely, after watching Clone Wars, he became one of my favorites. Like, not only was he an amazing fighter and Force user, because he had a Force lightning technique, but it was like a yellow lightning. It was like Force Judgment, I think it's called.
Right. Okay.
So really cool. He also discovered Ahsoka Tano, who goes on to become a very fucking good fighter and Jedi.
Very important character in the Clone.
Very important character, and also in season 7 as well, because she's there when all that stuff's going on. So, yeah, no, season 7's really good. I genuinely advise you watching it if you've not.
Okay, I will.
It's
I've not
really
got around
good.
to it yet. I got like a big list of things.
Really
I got a list of things that Jess has sent me to watch that I've not watched yet. So
I've
not watched Heartstopper or anything like that. So
watching all these Jedi Masters who in the Clone Wars are badasses and crazy at fighting and shit just go down like a sack of potatoes. So it does hit a lot harder.
It's kind of nuts, really. You know, you've got all these like bitch basic clones out here killing all these like big powerful Jedi, and then you've just got Anakin slaughtering kids. It's like,
yeah,
he's got like the easy job.
Yeah,
like shooting fish in a barrel.
Yeah, I feel bad for the clones who tried to kill Yoda though. Like, really, guys? You thought you stood a chance there?
Yeah. So then we get like a thing of Bail Organa turning up and then fucking off. I think he was literally. I think he was just in the film just so we knew who he was, or we acknowledged that Bail Organa was there somehow.
Well, he was because he was in the Senate as well. So I think he saw the things happening from the Senate building. Was like, oh fuck, the Jedi Temple's under attack. Went to see what was going on, and the clones were just like, you need to leave. So he's like, oh okay, I guess I'll leave then. And then some kid Jedi comes out, kills a load of them, like badass little kid. Does more than the Jedi Masters does in the film. Gets shot down to death. Organa's like, no! And then leaves.
Organa's out of there. I think that scene's basically just to set him up as the person that a certain someone gets given to at the end of the film.
Yeah.
Like that scene could be...
Sets him up, it sets him up, I think,
as an ally of the Jedi.
Get in contact with Obi-Wan and Yoda as well, because he gets them back together, helps them get back into the temple... corresponds with them.
Yeah, but that entire scene could be cut from the movie and it would have no consequence at all.
Oh yeah, no.
Especially compared to like how action-packed the latter half of the movie is.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, so
because you get two massive fights.
Yoda fucks off from Kashyyyk.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan steals Grievous's starfighter. They meet up with Bail Organa on the Tantive 4. And then they end up at the Jedi Temple and they see a recording of Anakin slaughtering children.
Yoda already knows what's up.
We made a home video of it. It was good.
Yoda's like, if into the security recordings you go, only pain you will find, I think he says.
Yeah, but Obi-Wan was looking for some good shit to send to You've Been Framed, but...
Yeah. So he goes in, he's like, oh no, he's killing younglings.
He saved them from a life of servitude to the Jedi Order.
Yeah. So then Obi-Wan's like, let me go kill Palpatine, lol, because I don't want to fight Anakin. And Yoda's like, bitch, you couldn't fight Palpatine.
Yeah. Then we get the big epic fight between the little green man and the old wrinkly man.
Which is fucking amazing.
Sheev got a lot more wrinkly after using his lightning.
Well, yeah, got it done on himself, didn't he?
Yeah.
Although some also say that's like his true form, true dark side form.
I guess it could have been like... I don't know if it's technically canon, but it's just a theory. That like maybe his like normal non-wrinkly ballsack face was a force projection or something, and him fighting Mace took so much concentration that he just let it slip.
He let it slip because he was trying to kill Mace, so he just focused all his energies on killing Mace.
Mace
was like, well, fuck it.
Hard.
I don't need to do pretense anymore either, because fuck you. You know who I am now.
Yeah. But then we get like the epic fight in the council chamber where there's like the floating platforms that all the chancellors are stood on, or councillors being stood on, just yeeted across the fucking.
And I need to say here as
Senate.
well, Yoda would have won that fight if it stayed in the chamber, like in
yeah.
the room, rather than going into the chamber. The moment Palpatine got space,
Yeah.
he had the high ground, I think they did that on purpose
to set up the next.
to
The
set
big
up
scene.
the next bit, because the moment Palpatine had distance, because Yoda was the better duelist.
Yoda's a very good
100%.
up close fighter.
But the moment you put distance in, Yoda is also a match for him in the Force. But Palpatine had the advantage of arenas by that point.
Yeah. That and
Because he was
Palpatine's
able to
fighting
keep
in an
distance.
environment he knows.
Yeah.
He spent a lot of time in that chamber over the past decade.
And also making it his own in
Yeah.
many ways. But yeah, so he was set up to win based on the fact that he kept the distance, and by keeping the distance, Yoda couldn't do much.
Especially from a scoring little shit like Yoda.
Well, that's the thing. Once you're getting close, Yoda was going for the kill.
Yeah.
But in terms of Force powers, Sheev had the advantage of just being further away, because Yoda then had to go on the defense because Sheev's just chucking shit at him.
Well, Sheev could go defensive, and Yoda had to go to him. It became a game of cat and mouse, and when you're chasing someone and they're at the home turf advantage, it's almost always a losing scenario.
Yeah. So when Yoda lost his lightsaber to the lightning strike, because he does beat Palpatine in that fight. He does beat him in that sense. But he doesn't get what he came for, which was the kill. He needed
Palpatine disarmed him, and therefore Yoda's wand is now Palpatine.
Yeah.
Wait, no.
Well,
wrong franchise. Fuck.
That's the thing. He got disarmed from the lightning, but then I think Yoda just sort of went for the fuck it. I'm just gonna hold your lightning in my hands, which he does.
Yeah.
Because at that point, it's like the greatest light side user of the time and greatest dark side user of the time at odds. And that power just sort of explodes because they're basically at even.
It reaches equilibrium and says, nah,
yeah,
we out.
So Yoda obviously gets yeeted away, and he's like, well, fuck it, there's no point. Like, nothing more I can do. So just leaves. And then, of course, while that's happening, you've got the fight with Palpatine, with Obi-Wan and Anakin, who is now Darth Vader, but not in the suit yet. That's coming.
He's been knighted as Darth Vader, but he's not in the iconic armor.
Yeah.
Still got the plot armor, though.
Yeah, still got the plot armor. So they're fighting. It's a very awesome fight. A lot of pointless moves, like the spinny bit, where they're just like...
It's purely for cinematic effect.
Yeah. It looks very fun and cool.
It's clearly so the fans can go, wow.
Oh, wow, look at them. They're so good.
Shiny lie.
Yeah. So they're fighting away. And it basically ends with them fighting on little, like, robots that are just going along the lava.
Wait, no, you're in the wrong fight.
And burned.
We've not transferred over to the Obi-Wan and Anakin fight yet.
What do you mean?
I thought we were still talking about the fucking Yoda fight.
No, I transferred over.
Well, we didn't say anything about Mustafar. Or them getting
I didn't say anything about Mustafar.
So,
I just said he was there.
Just to clear things up, Anakin and Obi-Wan are on a lava planet. Anakin's gone there to kill all
he goes there to kill the Confederacy.
Yeah.
The leaders of the Confederacy. To tie up the loose ends.
And then we get to this fight.
Then spouts on about his new empire.
Yeah.
He says. They
To
fight.
be fair, that kind of ties into episode 6 a bit well, though, because the whole idea of Anakin could rule it all.
Yeah. So his new empire. Oh, and he chokes Padme, but not in a sexy, kinky way.
Not in the way that he usually does.
No, not in the way.
And the safe word doesn't work.
Yeah, no. Yeah, so he chokes her out. They fight. Obi-Wan, that is, and Anakin fight. And then eventually it ends up with them being on, like, these robots on the lava.
Hovering over, like they do.
Obi-Wan jumps onto the embankment. Anakin comes up alongside the embankment on his little robot, still hovering, looking very angry. And Obi-Wan's like, "It's over, Anakin. I've got the high ground." Very classic line. And then Anakin's like, "You underestimate my powers." And
Second
Obi-Wan's
time
like,
he says that in the series.
"Yeah."
Second time he loses a fight.
And then he's like, and then Obi-Wan's like, "Don't try it." So he tries it and gets his legs cut off and his one remaining organic arm cut off as well.
He becomes a
He,
quadriplegic.
yep. He then burns and is set on fire by the lava, effectively. Obi-Wan picks up his lightsaber, screams about, "You were my brother, Anakin! I loved you! I hate you!" Blah, as he burns.
You were the chosen one,
Obi-Wan leaves
Anakin.
him. You were the chosen one.
You were supposed to
You were
destroy...
supposed to destroy the Sith, not join them.
I didn't sign up for this.
Obi-Wan leaves, gets Padme inside the ship. They then meet up with Bail Organa and Yoda on a moon, I think it is.
Asteroid.
Padme dies of sadness.
Dies of the big sad.
Although I think it's actually probably Palpatine sucking life force out of her or something.
That is a popular theory.
Yeah. Isn't it the theory that he uses her life force to keep him alive or something as well?
Keep Anakin
That's like
alive.
A theory.
Yeah. The trade of life for life.
Yeah. Which would be a very Sithy power, and I could see him killing Padme to do it as well, because then he could be like, "Oh no, you killed her. Oh dear." Which he does do, actually.
Yeah.
So
Padme gives birth to twins on her deathbed.
Luke and Leia.
Yeah.
Important names, remember those?
Yep. Important names. You might have heard of them somewhere.
Yeah. Bail takes the girl. They always wanted a baby girl, so they take the baby girl, and then they're like, and then everyone's like, "I'll take Luke to his family on Tatooine. He'll be safe there because it's sandy."
Literally. If you need to fight Darth Vader, just throw your pocket sand at him.
Yeah. So
yeah, and then we have the
Yoda goes to Dagobah. And
no, he goes to Canto Bight where he's a dice champion.
Dagobah's
a cover.
Yeah,
it's where he grows his mushrooms.
I mean, to be fair, you'd think he was on fucking mushrooms by the time you get to the original trilogy.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then, like, we get the big scene of Anakin becoming Darth Vader properly in the armor, and then the seams in your anger.
No. Yeah. In the comics, they expand on that scene a bit.
Yeah.
Because when he's like, "No," and like starts destroying everything, you know, in the movie, Palpatine's all like, "Yes."
Yeah.
Well, in the comics, it expands on it where he's so pissed off he throws everything away, including Palpatine.
I don't know, way better.
So Palpatine gets yeeted away, and then afterwards, Palpatine force lightnings the fuck out of him. It's like, "If you ever touch me again, I will fucking kill you."
This is the equivalent of a spanking, child. Don't do
this. Basically. Like, you ever fucking touch me again, I will kill you. And the comics really show how bad Palpatine is as a person.
Oh, yeah.
Like, really fucks Vader up so much.
He's the worst. But yeah, so that's episode 3. Well, hey.
The longest of the 3 films to discuss because it's the one that had all the.
It's the one with all the stuff. Rebels happens at some point. Yep. Actually, I guess technically, chronologically speaking, Solo would go first. Actually, no, we don't see him from like a super young. Where would Solo even fit in the fucking timeline? Oh, it's Empire, isn't it? So I guess it's post episode 3. Oh yeah, Just at some point they dissolve the Republic and turn it into the first Galactic Empire. That's where the Empire comes.
It's set 10 to 13 years before the events of A New Hope, so that would make it set just before the timeline of Rebels, or at the very same time.
Okay, right. So we'll talk about Rebels first, seems as I don't know anything about it, so...
Well,
other than there's like a droid called Chopper, I think.
Yep, there is. There is a droid called Chopper. There's Kanan Jarrus, a Jedi Knight, who doesn't show off that he's a Jedi, really.
Probably smart in a post-Jedi world.
Yeah, he does eventually. And he's training Ezra Bridger, a Jedi Padawan. They both become very powerful as the series goes on. They meet Tom Baker. Sorry. Yeah,
The
Tom Baker's
Doctor?
in it. Yeah, he's in it. Although as like he is the Bendu,
Oh, okay.
which is like this massive force creature.
Right, okay.
And he effectively trains Kanan Jarrus
Right, okay, yeah.
in foresight, because Kanan Jarrus gets blinded at some point due to a fight with Darth Maul.
Oh, yeah, casual, as you do. Bring
Yeah.
that geezer back from the dead. Why not?
Oh yeah, no, Darth Maul's end is in Rebels.
Yeah. He came back, so he was in Phantom, and then he came back like twice or 3 times in the
Clone
fucking
Wars.
Clone Wars, and then he's back
he was in the
Rebels
Clone Wars.
Again.
He was basically the main antagonist of the Clone Wars for the most part. He's even in season 7. Him and Ahsoka have a big fight.
He got like, wasn't he a parts like mechanical spider for a bit?
Yes, he was.
And then he got then his lower
Wars.
half got fused with a super battle droid by like witches.
Yeah. So
here we go. He's getting information.
Yeah, I'm just trying to.
He's learning
bits.
He's learnerating.
Well, I'm reminding myself because there are
memorizing. Rememberizing.
Yeah, so Bendu trains Kanan. Kanan eventually kills himself. He like sacrifices himself.
Okay, that's not quite as dramatic as I anticipated.
Yeah, no, he sacrifices himself so that Ezra and that could continue.
Right, okay.
I'm trying to remember most of Rebels. It's been a long time since I've watched it, so there's other characters.
There's other people. They are there. You might notice them or not.
Yeah. But Bendu is so powerful that he can like create Force Storm. Basically.
Pardon me. Okay, right.
And then he was killed. Well, killed or not, I'm not sure, but he does vanish.
Ducks off into the.
Just before Admiral Thrawn can put the bullet into him.
Right.
So he does an Obi-Wan, I guess.
He does stuff.
It's a good series, and then effectively the series effectively ends with Ahsoka and Sabine, another character of the Rebels, looking for Ezra after him and Thrawn got like teleported away by big space whales. There's a lot of Rebels that you need to watch really to fully understand what's going on.
Okay.
So they're like, right, cool, we'll go looking for him. Because you've seen Mandalorian, right? So you've seen Ahsoka in Mandalorian, and she's like, where is Admiral Thrawn, yeah? That's because in Mandalorian, that's around the timeline of Ahsoka looking for Ezra.
Oh, right, okay.
So the end of Rebels goes into Mandalorian.
Right, okay.
But Maul finds Obi-Wan on Tatooine.
Oh.
So Maul dies to Obi-Wan. Because Maul realizes, oh shit, you're protecting someone or something. So Obi-Wan's immediately like, yeah. So Obi-Wan's like, well, shit, I've got to kill you now. So lightsaber comes on, but he does this really cool thing where he goes into his Sarisu move stance, but then he goes into the Ataru stance, the same as Qui-Gon. So Maul is tricked by that and goes in to do the same move he does on Qui-Gon. But Obi-Wan did this to trick Maul and kills him in 3 strikes.
Okay.
Like, it's 1, 2, 3, dead.
Nice and straightforward.
It's really quick. Because people were like, oh, that's a shit fight. It's like, no, it's symbolic. It's a symbolic fight. It isn't meant to be this... Yeah, symbolics. It's not meant to be this glorious fight because Obi-Wan at this point is, older and whatnot.
And wiser. It's not a fight of passion anymore.
No, it's just a fight of, I need to kill you. You're going to die. I'm sorry. That's just that. So Maul tries to do the same stun trick. But as he goes for the stun, because Obi-Wan's blocked his first 2 strikes, but when he goes for the stun, instead of stunning Obi-Wan, Obi-Wan cuts down through the middle of his lightsaber and all the way down him.
Right, okay.
So that's the fight. The fight is literally most of the fight is them looking at each other with music, like, oh.
Spooky.
And then it's just 1, 2, dead.
Okay.
And then like Maul has that closure because he's like, oh, is he the chosen one? And Obi-Wan, obviously believing it to be the case, is like, yes, he is. So Maul basically is like, oh, he'll get vengeance for us. Says us. I think he means Obi-Wan as well in some ways.
Is this in reference to Anakin? Yeah.
Yeah, just he'll get vengeance for us because obviously he also hates Palpatine.
People who've been wronged by the Sith. Yeah.
Yeah. So he means us, as in Obi-Wan and him.
Yeah, the pair of them.
Because they've both been wronged by it. So yeah, so that's how Maul ends.
Okay.
And then you sort of go into Mandalorian timeline after that.
Okay. So happening simultaneously to this, we have Solo, which is certainly one of the films that I have ever watched.
Ah, yes, isn't there the whole fucking casino bit? There's like a whole casino planet they go to.
Right? No, that's episode 8.
Oh fuck me! I'm getting the shit films confused.
That's genuine main film timeline you're thinking of there.
Oh, God.
Yeah, no, that fever nightmare actually happens in main timeline Star Wars. I mean, Solo's technically main timeline, but it's not got the Star Wars title. It's a Star Wars story. So it is within the territory that Disney can actually shit can to Legends if they want. Which I fully recommend they do, because that film... I mean, Solo, it looks good. And I do love Childish Gambino, whatever his actual name is. I can't remember his name off my head. As Lando Calrissian. Like, he absolutely fulfills the swagger required to pull off Lando Calrissian.
Donald Glover.
Donald Glover, yeah. He's Donald Glover, thanks, Jess. Yeah, he fulfills that role so well.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. I would say he's the best thing about the film.
Yeah, the casting for the guy who plays Han, I'd say was fucking like... I'm not hating on the actor. I just don't think he's suited to fill the boots of Harrison Ford. Because Jesus fucking Christ, of anyone in the industry, Harrison Ford is up there in terms of boots to fill.
And Harrison Ford fucking hates Star Wars.
Yeah, he does. Him and Alec Guinness both despise Star Wars with passion.
Although I have to say, Emilia Clarke being in it's perfectly fine. Makes it a bit more watchable.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, we're not going to go into like... The other hand, Solo has a weird shaped head. It's like a square. Yeah, I'm not going to go like into super detail on the details. But basically, like, Han's on a planet, leaves his girlfriend behind, ends up flying for the military, meets Chewbacca, deserts the military, robs a train, loses the very explosive, dangerous starship fuel. This is the first time they've ever talked about starship fuel, except for episode 8. So yeah. both the shit ones.
Where they're like, oh, we're running out of fuel.
Both of like the really shit ones talk about starship fuel. It's never been something they've spoken about. I always thought starship fuel was in the realm of Star Trek, because that's more rooted in genuine science. I mean, I say more rooted, it's got more like technological terms and everything. Star Wars is high fantasy in reality. Yeah. That just happens to be sci-fi.
Well, it's a space opera,
yeah.
So yeah.
Star Wars is space fantasy, whereas Star Trek it's more close to hard sci-fi. It's not hard sci-fi, but it's far more related to hard sci-fi than it is Star Wars is. But yeah, so for some reason they decided to just add fucking starship fuel. Should have just got a can of liquid Schwartz off yogurt.
of yoga?
Off yogurt. No, it's yogurt, isn't it? It's yogurt to us, but yogurt to the Americans. So, but yeah, so they rob a train, it blows up, and then the person they owe the money to isn't fucking Woody Harrelson in this as well.
Yeah,
I
think so.
It's weird because I've watched Now You See Me so many times, I can't help but see him as Merritt McKinney. So it's like so bad. But yeah, then they go to like They steal some from the bottom of a mine with the help of Lando Calrissian and his sex robot. She's not actually a sex robot, but it's implied that they're banging, which is proper. Like, do not need to know that, Star Wars. Fuck off. Leave me alone. Get out of here with your robosexual tendencies. No offense to anyone who might actually be into that shit, but for cinema, really,
Yeah, unnecessary.
it is unnecessary. That and like I don't understand attraction to non-anthropological things. I mean, like, yeah, the bipedal robot, kind of close to the human anthropology, but still, like, fuck off, get out of here. Yeah, and then they go to refine it somewhere, and then there's like a whole double, triple, fucking quadruple cross. There's like all sorts of people stabbing each other in the back, and it gets super hard to follow who's on whose side. And then the girl that Han Solo is supposed to be with fucks off in like the evil geezer's spaceship, and it's like, oh, they're clearly setting up for a sequel that will never happen because the film was just dog
It
shit.
had better not happen.
If it does happen, I'm going to be very pissed off at you, Mr. Mouse, for sanctioning shit. But yeah, Solo is a garbage fire.
Stick to the TV shows because that's where it's working.
Yes, it really is.
And with the TV shows, they could explore more because you could do more in 12 episodes than you can in 1 hour and a half film.
Yeah, 12 like 40-minute long episodes equals a hell of a lot more time than one movie.
That's why The Mandalorian is so good, because it explores, and we'll get to Mandalorian pretty soon, I think. Actually, that'll be next.
No, that'll be in original trilogy, roughly in that timeline. Mandalorian's not prequel, is it?
Mandalorian
is Mandalorian prequel.
Mandalorian, I'm pretty sure, is set before episode.
Quick to the thing. When?
Because Ahsoka's still looking for. Oh wait, no, it is after Empire. You're right, because yes,
yeah, 9 after 9 ABY.
Yeah, it is after. You're right.
Yeah.
Oh god, that means like, oh jeez, that means Ahsoka's been looking for Admiral Thrawn for like 10 years.
Yeah. But yeah, like Solo is, I'd say, the second worst of the Disney. Yeah, second worst of the Disney Star Wars films. Actually, no, I'd say it's joint worst with 8 and 9. I'd say all three of those are equally as shit, but they will be on the tier list at some point in the future. And
So Rebels ends in 0 ABY.
Okay.
So literally just before Rogue One happens, it ends.
Okay.
That means that Ahsoka's been looking for Thrawn for 9 years.
Hell of a search.
Jesus. That's what the Ahsoka series will probably cover. It'll cover those 9 years of her looking for shit. Probably.
She's one dedicated gal. But that brings us to the last entry on our list before we go and do our quick tier list. Because this has lasted longer than I anticipated.
Yeah, well, it's because we've just fucking talked shit about each of them.
Yeah, and that brings us to the single best Star Wars film made by Disney. Rogue One. It is fucking amazing.
Rogue One was the first film they did when they took over, wasn't it?
No, I think it came out after episode. Yeah, because it came episode 7, Rogue One, 8, Solo, 9.
That's right. Yes, 2016.
Because there was 2 years between main series out releases.
That's right. They were doing main series spin-off, main series spin-off, and they were having a Star Wars film every year until that went wrong.
Yeah, and Rogue One is so good. It's got Alan Tudyk in it and a bunch of other people. I only remember Alan Tudyk, but I'm a massive fan of Alan Tudyk's work. Since he was Wash in Firefly, I've been a fan of him, and the fact that he's returned to sci-fi for this. I mean, he's not been away from sci-fi, and weirdly, it kind of makes sense that Alan Tudyk's in this film because he's been in like every animated Disney film since 2016 or something. Like even in Kanto, he plays the toucan that doesn't have any speaking. and he still
Yeah.
gets a credited role. But yeah, Rogue One's so good. So it starts out with, is it Cassian Andor? Is that his name?
Cassian Andor.
Yeah, yeah, that's who the Andor series is about, but we're not covering the Andor series because we haven't watched it.
Yeah, no, I need to watch it
I
now
need to watch it as well.
because now I've remembered his name. I'm like, oh shit, that's the guy from
Yeah.
Rogue One. It's gonna be
no,
good.
I knew it was about him, but I haven't watched it yet, mainly because I think I'm going to wait for it all to come out and binge, which is less healthy,
Yeah.
but I prefer a
Yeah,
good binge
but
watch.
yeah, binge watch is always good. I prefer a binge watch.
Actually, just to go on a bit of a tangent, I was watching Snowpiercer on Netflix with my mother, and like waiting for her to get to episode 10 and see the cliffhanger at the end of the first season is like, I can't wait for her to understand the suffering I went through waiting for a year for season 2. It's always the worst thing. But yeah, Rogue One. We start off with Cassian Andor. He's an intelligence operative, which means he's an asshole because all good intelligence operatives are referred to as spies.
Yep.
Important distinction here. James Bond is a spy, not an intelligence operative, despite the fact that he does little to no espionage. He just does assassination and world saving.
But the general gist of the film is one of the characters, Jyn Erso.
Not named
Her
after the beverage.
father is forcibly taken by the Empire because he is like an engineer and is a weapons specialist. So he helps build the Death Star. Basically, is the gist.
Spoilers.
But Rogue One sets up how Leia gets the Death Star plans.
Yeah.
Basically, is what it does.
It sets up why that vulnerability exists, because that was a huge topic of debate in the like Star Wars community for as long as Episode 4's been out, basically. Even before it was called A New Hope, it was like, well, why was that design problem there? And then it's literally, I put it there because devious plans.
But basically, yeah, Jyn Erso's father was like, yeah, cool, all right, I'll help you, I guess, because you forcibly taken me, but fuck you, I've put
wasn't it Mads Mikkelsen?
Mads Mikkelsen
wasn't
is
that
Galen Erso.
Yeah,
Galen
Erso. Galen Erso, Mads Mikkelsen literally says so, and that's why the Death Star blows up in episode 4.
Yeah,
I love that,
effectively he puts in the weakness,
yeah,
and helps them get the plans out there so that the rebels can make use of it.
Yeah, they've got like, there's a bloke called Saul Guerrera who's a bit of a lunatic.
Oh yeah.
There's Jyn Erso, there's Cassian Andor, there's K2SO, there's the blind guy, and there's the blind guy's big heavy set boyfriend.
Yep.
And that's basically all of them, innit? All the main characters.
Yeah.
And they go to the planet Scarif? Is that it? I think it is Scarif. You know, for some reason they put like the big Empire data archive on the planet that happens to have tropical beaches. Definitely not anything to do with nice holiday resorts for the staff working there. Nothing to do with that. Definitely not sus as fuck. But they go there after like a bunch of shit happens. Like the Death Star partially blows up a planet in slow motion for cinematic effect, I guess. You know, Alderaan's destroyed within a split second, and the city of Jeddah is destroyed over a matter of minutes. It's sort of like, has this always been the power of the Death Star, and old computers were just unable to render it, and that's why it destroyed it? I mean, I guess like it could have been fracturing the mantle or fracturing the crust of the planet, but we have no information about geology in Star Wars, so I can't say anything about that. But yeah, anyway, they get to Scarif, they steal the plans, they beam them off the planet after creating a big hole in the shield with what I have to say is one of the coolest new ships introduced by Disney, the Hammerhead Corvette. It's basically the Tantive 4, but with its head oriented in a different direction and reinforced to all fuck. And it just powers into a Star Destroyer and yeets that bitch into a shield. Which
It also introduces us to the Death Troopers.
Oh, it does, yes.
In like movie canon. And it's great because you don't understand what they say, because that's the whole point. And they are deadly. And effectively what happens is all the main cast of Rogue One die.
They perish.
Because they cannot live, like physically cannot live.
Mainly because we can't go back and retcon 3, 4, and 5, 4, 5, and 6.
You'd have to retcon the whole of 4, 5, and 6. Yeah.
Probably have to retcon like bits of 3 as well to fit it in.
Yeah. So obviously they have to die, and they do spectacularly.
Yeah.
They go out fighting, but we also get some of the best live action Darth Vader scenes.
Oh yeah, the end of this film. You know, I don't tend to be one for watching violence. I mean, like cinema violence, I can get along with, but long drawn out fight scenes, or just fight scenes that seem to last longer than they should. Like the first time you watch it, yeah, but by the time you've watched the 2012's Avengers 4 or 5 times, that big like 30-minute long fight scene at the end just drags.
Yeah,
but I will never ever get bored of that scene at the end of Rogue One.
Yeah,
because
where
it is
just cutting them up, throwing them around. Yeah. Like,
it is effectively the precursor to the scene at the start of A New Hope.
Yep. Oh yeah, 100%, exactly. Yeah.
It is so good. I love it.
How does his cape move?
What in space?
When he's out.
Well, no, because it's been displayed that they have like shield technology that ships can pass through, like on the Venator. I'm guessing it has one of those.
Right. Okay.
Either that or it's atmosphere rushing out of the ship around him.
Maybe
it could
probably
be that,
would be that,
but it would be a lot more violent if it was.
Yeah. But either way, that end scene is dark, and I love it. I'm there for it every time.
It's so good. We get to see slightly uncanny Valley Leia. This film gives us more Tarkin than we've ever seen before.
Yep. Yeah.
And again, that's Uncanny Valley. Again, stealing jokes from Killian Experience, but it's because the animators couldn't bear to look into his eyes because they're so intimidating. Because that's Tarkin.
I mean, you've got to think though, they had to animate him like down as well, because Peter Cushing in the original would be in slippers and like comfy trousers, so they only ever shot him from the waist up. Because he refused to wear the boots and that, so he'd wear slippers and like comfy trousers.
To be fair though, it's like they put shoes in some shots, but unless it's a wide shot, you don't tend to see like the. I could be naked from the waist down for all you know. I'm not wearing hiking trousers. Definitely doesn't fit the outfit, but. You know.
Yeah, no. I'm wearing grey joggers. My comfy.
I don't put my slippers back. My toes aren't cold.
But yeah, no, that end scene is just chef's
I'd
kiss.
say it is the ultimate crown for the entire prequel series. Out of even the big Yoda Palpatine fight or the Anakin Obi-Wan fight, that scene is by far the best. And,
yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah. Okay, so just to finish it all off, let's go do our tier list. I might have to. Oh no, wait! All my audio seems to be working fine. That's fine.
Hey.
Oh, hey. Right. Good. Right. So let's start with Solo.
I'm
gonna just put that off the bottom there you go. It's just about peaking on.
Yeah.
We can all agree objectively that Solo is like joint last with Episode 8 and Episode 9.
Are we going to keep this tier list when you move on to the other parts?
Yeah,
I'm going
to duplicate this tier list as a scene on OBS, and we're going to keep one for Star Wars.
Yes.
And then we're just going to keep rotating out the other one.
Because the Star Wars one is just going to fill up, and it's going to be great.
Yeah, Rogue One.
Rogue One is S tier film.
Okay, S tier. Yeah, Rogue One is by far the best thing Disney have made. No U for ungraded. No. No, because
it has to be graded somehow. So
we're like, all right, Episode 1, universally disliked, I would say.
I don't dislike it, but I would put it sort of on the cusp of CD.
I'll put it halfway between.
Like, yeah, like sort of there. It's not inherently a bad film, but there was a lot of useless tat in there that wasn't
Jar Jar
required.
Binks doesn't need to exist.
No.
The Clone Wars can go down here just for the I don't like sand. Like, no. I will say
Clone Wars was a little better.
No,
I'd say
Attack
like
of the Clones even.
Attack of the Clones, I would say is solid C.
Yeah, it has some very good. It introduces a lot of vehicles, which is one of my favorite things in Star Wars.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we've got Revenge.
Yeah.
I'm going to pop it just up into A a little bit. Mainly, the final fights really redeem.
The final fights save it, yeah.
Some of the super cringy dialogue.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, and then we got the Clone Wars.
Clone Wars TV series, I'm going to say is a solid A.
Solid A. To be fair, I do love the Clone Wars. When I was ill a little while ago, I bought the entirety of Series 6 on Google Play and watched it. And that leaves us with Rebels, because I've not bothered to put in the Clone Wars films or the old Clone Wars or anything.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. Rebels...
Mainly because I was organising this 3 minutes before we went live, so...
I would say isn't higher than Clone Wars, but is also definitely higher than Episode 3.
About that. I like how we've got this, like, nice rigid S, A, B, C, D, and E,
and then we're just
put over everything overlapping anyway. So Solo is just about peeking onto the board at E.
Yep.
Let's just put it down a bit so it doesn't get too big for its boots. There we go. So Solo's down there, and then we go Episode 1, Episode 2, Episode 3, Rebels, Clone Wars, and Rogue One. Which is kind of interesting because we have put them in rough chronological order, with the exception of... Or we've put them in rough order of development.
Yeah.
So it's actually kind of showing the growth of Lucasfilm as a company in the time that they've been producing these films.
Yeah. Obviously, Clone Wars and Rebels are switched timeline-wise.
Yeah, but like in terms of production, Clone Wars started earlier. Oh yeah,
yes.
No, you're right there.
Yeah.
But then Rebels was sort of more post-Disney acquisition.
Yes, Rebels was fully post-Disney, whereas Clone Wars transition.
Yeah, Clone Wars straddled.
Although Clone Wars did start under Disney anyway, because Disney funded the animation, I believe.
I think stuff with it, so. Disney were the production company behind it, but they weren't the ones.
They weren't owning it at that point. Yeah,
Dave Filoni wasn't working for them.
No. So yeah, and then Rogue One is just an S-tier film because I think it's an amazing film, and good. The story is good. It's concise. It doesn't filler anything.
It's not got.
I mean, technically, Rogue One is filler. The whole film is filler, but it doesn't have any filler in its core story, which is what it's trying to tell.
It's not.
It just tells its story and
about ships running out of fuel. It's not got bullshit about some fucking planet called Canto Bight.
Yep.
It's not got some stupid fucking love saves us or whatever bollocks message. It's not got some crystal foxes or some stupid orange VTech owl / puffin thing. It's clearly designed to sell merch. You know, Rogue One is a masterpiece of Star Wars storytelling.
Yeah.
Rogue One, I'd say, is up there with Empire and Return of the Jedi and A New Hope. They are good, especially for their time. But Rogue One, damn.
Rogue One is the best modern Star Wars film.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah.
I'd like to see if Kieran agrees with this list.
I'm just duplicating the.
I don't know if he's watching at this point or not.
Yeah, I don't know if he's watching, but
I would like to see his opinions on where we've put.
I'll send him a picture afterwards and see what he thinks.
I still love that Solo's just only peeking on there, like, "Hello, please."
Hello. Oh yeah, I need to put an arrow to Solo. This is Solo. Although I don't know if I could do that. I might be able to just quickly add on this. Oh, wait, hold on. Okay.
Oh, dearie me. I love the tier list. Also, in terms of the spreadsheet for Tom's perfect partner, what's your favourite ship, Tom?
My favourite ship, the Venator.
The Venator. There we go.
There we
So
go.
they need to be made of cheese, wet, and a Venator Star Destroyer.
Venator Star Destroyer. There you go. Look, I've got Solo on there now. It's labelled. I added a little text thing. But yeah, so well, I think that's us all done for Tom's Tavern this week. Bump it up, so if I go back to that screen. Well, hey, look at that. Second episode done. It's gone pretty well. I'm not sure what I'll be talking about next week. It depends on who I can get on as guests. If anyone wants to come on as a guest for next week, I can send you the topic list and we can decide if there's anything to speak about. Drop me a DM on Discord. But other than that, yeah, we are all done. So thank you everyone for coming, and thank you everyone who's listening on a podcast source or watching on YouTube. What else can I say?
Podcast Sunday on twitch.tv/Burge and Tom.
Yep, gonna have to go.
We're going to be live streaming the podcast going forward.
That's
because this format has worked so well that I feel like the podcast just works live as well.
Rambling on format is changing to join the Tom's Tavern format.
Yep.
It will be in person live one day.
Yeah, we'll get some in person live ones as well. When I get like a nice weekend off, I'll have to come up to you and do a live one.
We'll get it set up so we can sit on the sofa and everything and have it mic'd. I will get a XLR interface for my PC so I can plug in a shotgun so we can do it proper, like, because my equipment stash groweth.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if you like what you heard, there's if you want to see more of me, there's my YouTube channel. If you want to see more of Burge, there's Burge's YouTube channel. There's also our personal Twitch channels. I will be streaming on my Twitch channel very soon. I need to go through and light up my mangrove swamp for Bridgecraft because it is doing my skull in, getting constantly slaughtered. But all that and more can be found somewhere. bluetail.media/tavern or burgeontom.com. They basically lead to the same place. But anyway, thank you all very much. I've been Tom. This has been my Tavern. Thank you very much, Burge, for coming as a guest this week.
You're welcome.
Follow me on Twitter at @TASpeed_ to find out what I'll be talking about next week when I figure that out.
Assuming Twitter is still up by that point.
Assuming Twitter is still up. We might have to make a Mastodon server at this point. But you'll hear about that on Rambling On if you come tune in on Sunday. But other than that, the bar is now closed. Please all make an orderly exit. And don't take your drinks outside because we're not licensed for that. And goodbye.